So, you've got a dog here in Temecula, and you know what an amazing lifestyle this city has to offer. But to really enjoy all of it with your four-legged friend, having a well-behaved companion is everything. In this explainer, we're going to walk through how to find a great local dog trainer who's the perfect fit for you, your dog, and your life right here in town.
I mean, just picture it for a second. Strolling through a bustling old town on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, or maybe kicking back on a winery patio with your dog just chilling at your feet. That's the dream, right? A dog that can handle all the unique and wonderful spots Temecula has. And that's exactly what good training makes possible.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why training that's specific to life in Temecula really works. Then, we'll get into figuring out your dog's specific needs and look at all the different training options out there. After that, we'll cover how to pick the right professional and wrap things up with some awesome local spots to practice all those new skills. Let's start with our first section, Training for Temecula Life. And this is about so much more than just the basic sit and stay. A trainer who really gets our local area can prep your dog for the situations you're actually going to run into every day.
Think about the stuff that's unique to living here. We're talking about teaching your dog to stay cool and collected on a crowded winery patio, or how to walk nicely down a packed sidewalk in Old Town, or, how to stay focused when you come across other animals on the Santa Margarita River trails. A local trainer knows all about these things. All right, on to our second section, figuring out what your dog actually needs. Before you can find the right help, you've got to have a really clear picture of what you're trying to accomplish. What are those specific behaviors you really want to work on? The first big question is, what's your dog's age? The way you train a brand new puppy who's learning everything from scratch is going to be totally different from how you'd work with an adult dog who might already have some, let's call them, established habits that you need to change. So let's look at some of the usual suspects when it comes to training goals. Are you in the puppy stage, focused on socialization and potty training? Or are you dealing with something more specific, like pulling on the leash, jumping all over your guests, or maybe something a little more complex, like anxiety? Nailing down your number one priority is a fantastic place to start.
Okay, you know your goals. Now for section 3. Let's explore your options. You can start looking at all the different ways to get there. We'll go over training philosophies, the different formats, and how to spot someone who really knows their stuff.
One of the most important things to look for is a trainer who uses positive reinforcement. Basically, it's a reward-based approach that's not only humane and effective, but it also makes the whole process fun for your dog. It really strengthens that bond between you two. Now, let's talk about the format. In-home training is fantastic because you're tackling problems right where they happen. Like barking like crazy at the doorbell or jumping on visitors. But on the flip side, group classes are excellent for practicing those skills with distractions around, helping your dog learn to focus on you even with other dogs and people nearby.
Checking out a trainer's expertise is a big deal. I know, these acronyms can look a little intense, but they represent real certification programs that require passing exams on training and animal behavior. Seeing something like CPDTK or KPA-CTP tells you that a trainer has really invested in their education and is committed to professional standards.
Okay, let's move on to our fourth section and see how to put all this together. Now that you know what to look for, how do you actually make that final call and pick the perfect professional for you and your dog? When you're talking to a potential trainer, here are 5 key questions you'll want to ask. Make sure they use positive methods, ask about those certifications we just saw, and get a feel for how they'll create a plan specifically for your dog. And of course, you'll want to be crystal clear on the costs and how you're both going to track your dog's progress. And speaking of costs, here's a look at what you can generally expect for different types of training here in the Temecula area. Group puppy classes are usually the most budget-friendly starting point, while something like a board-and-train program is obviously a much bigger investment. This should give you a ballpark idea to help you budget for the goals you've set. And finally, our last section, where to practice. Because training doesn't just happen during a session, right? The real magic happens when you take all those new skills out into the real world. And Temecula has some amazing spots for this. The Temecula Creek Trail, especially on a weekday morning, is perfect for working on that loose leash walking around bikes and joggers. The Santa Rosa Plateau gives you a great chance to work on focus with all kinds of new smells and wildlife around. And for those off-leash skills like recall, the local dog parks are going to be your safest bet. And here is a really important local rule to keep in your back pocket. Outside of a fenced-in, designated dog park, Riverside County requires your dog to be on a leash that's no longer than 6 feet. Following this rule keeps everybody safe and makes sure your practice sessions are respectful to everyone else out there enjoying our public spaces.
At the end of the day, the effort you put into training really does pay off in so many ways. A well-behaved dog is a fantastic companion at home, but they also get to be a bigger part of your life out in the world, joining you at dog-friendly wineries, parks, and cafes. We hope this guide helps you find that perfect partner to help you and your dog enjoy everything this beautiful city has to offer.